attributes of being an Episcopalian. So what I'm going to ask you, I'll first talk about them, but ultimately I'm going to want you to put a blue sticky note on the one that kind of describes what draws you to the Episcopal Church. And we'll talk about that. And then when we're done with that, I'm going to ask you to put a green sticky note on the one that you would like to see more of here at Grace. So we'll start over here. Being Jesus's feet in hand. So we as Episcopalians experience a relationship with God through our connection to others, through nature, through ourselves, through participation in civic life. Is that what brings you to the Episcopal Church? Is the question. Also shared amongst us is this idea that God is here, that we find God in the beauty of our spaces, we find God in nature, we find God in the sacraments, in our liturgy, and we find God in ourselves, in each other, and in our own being. This idea that God is incarnate and present in the sacraments, in nature, beauty, and self. And if you even want to get more specific, you can put your sticky note, if this is what draws you, on the quadrant that really resonates with you. I'm going to come over here. Another characteristic shared by Anglicans is this idea that we're communal, that there's a connection with God and with one another through communal prayer, and that communal prayer shapes individual prayer. So we think about coming together for worship. We think about the daily office, the idea that people are praying the same prayers all around the world at the same time each day. Another attribute is open-minded, that we search for wisdom and we listen and we bring our questions. It is okay to show up without all the answers, and we know that our clergy don't always have all the answers, but that it is okay to not know, and we're going to keep looking to God to find the answers and to figure out how we do this thing we call life. Okay, over here. Ambiguous. That Episcopalians are also tolerant and we embrace complexity in gray space. There's this idea of the big tent in the Episcopal Church, that we can hold MAGA folks and we can hold liberal Democrats, right? That we can be in this gray space of, that there's not a right or a wrong, but that there's room for all of us, and that the answers aren't always easy. And then the final one is that we as Episcopalians are rooted in tradition, in history, and discipline. That we go back to the Book of Common Prayer, the hymnal, the daily office, the Bible, the Psalms, that we have our values, that we value our history and reflections, and we embrace tradition and liturgy and disciplined prayer. And you will see that there's some overlap, right? There's like different ways. Beauty comes in here in a couple different places, right? You could like it for its tradition. You could like it for this idea that God is here. You can like it in the idea that it's communal. But there might be a characteristic of this. So, on your tables, there are blue sticky notes. If everybody could take one sticky note and put it on the poster that really resonates for you, for why you are here at Grace Episcopal Church. What attracts you as an Episcopalian? Just one. Oh. To any interest. Just mine. Would you like me, can I do one for you? Got it. We haven't gotten there yet, yeah, but we will. You can start thinking about what you want to grow at Grace. Okay, people pretty much had a chance. Okay, so first of all, I realized that I failed to introduce myself or what we're doing. So I'm Jen Phelps. I'm with the diocese, with the bishop's staff, and I am here to help walk through discernment as the discernment committee builds the profile for Grace Episcopal Church, and then we go out and seek the next priest. So that's who I am. Do we have anyone who has not been here at either of the previous two Holy Conversations? Okay, glad you're here. Okay, so that's me, and it is such a pleasure and a delight to be back with you for the third of these Holy Conversations. In the previous weeks, we've talked about what we value at Grace, and 2 weeks ago, we talked about disappointments and hurts, and that was a really fruitful and rich conversation. Both of those happened. Okay, so what observations do we have on the blue on where people voted? What observations do you have when you look around the room? Yeah. That's what I put up. Oh, hit the bottom. Hit the bottom. There's a little, yeah, okay. Does that work?
Yeah.
Try this one. Oh, I think it just worked.
That one work? Okay, right. I was over on Rooted in Tradition, History, and Discipline, and I was surprised that as many folks were on that. I was a little mad that we only had one, but yeah. That's okay. That's fine. And the other thing I note is it's really good, open-minded, and that seems to be pretty strong.
Yeah. So we're seeing strength on Rooted in Tradition, History, and Discipline, a whole lot of answers. And a bunch on open-minded as well. Any other observations? I have one, that every single poster has some, okay, here, would you like to talk about that?
Well, I heard you say.
Okay.
There's nothing that is standing for.
Right. So there are some characteristics that we could say about Grace, but different things attract us to come be at Grace, right? It's not the same thing that draws all of us. Any other observations?
it's really cool to see that, for the most part, there's almost an equal standing among all items with why we're here, and maybe there's a growing edge to it. I think it's, you know, just from, I'm not gonna out which one I put where, but just from my perspective, I would love to know, you know, because there may be big bullet points like Jen was mentioning with each one, but there might be little quiet, silent bullet points that we may not be thinking of that are lurking in the shadows that maybe, you know, there's a silence to be heard. You never know why that figure is there, and it could be, it's just waiting for its moment to pop through the soil, like I was telling folks, be explaining the instructions that are taken to get everyone on the same page. The green is for growth, growing edge. This is what we need to work on.
We're about to get to that.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying, is it'll be interesting to see how, you know, because it's easy to see the big picture, but what are the little small things?
Yeah. So on that note, if you haven't already, please take a green Post-it and put it on the poster that reflects that you would like to see more of at Grace. Not
Sorry,
that
we
it doesn't.
already did that at the table. We heard your instructions a little too well.
So this time it is this idea of, it's not that it doesn't exist at Grace, but that you would love to see this grow in the season ahead. So you guys do a tremendous amount of being the hands and feet. Do you want more of that? Do we want more discipline? Discipline. Tradition. Yeah. You personally. This is how we figure out what the church wants. So answer for yourself individually. Do we have on this second round with the green Post-its of what you want to see grow? I have an observation. Look over to the rooted in tradition, history, and discipline. There's only one green Post-it, so there's some deductions to be made by that. Yes, here.
I think it's quite interesting that the open-mindedness has, I would say there were a few blue, but there's quite a few green, which it's almost like it's an interesting mix of both. So some people think it's very open-minded and other people say it's not open-minded enough.
I don't know that we can make that deduction because we just said we want more of this. It could be. So would somebody who put a green Post-it want to talk about why they did? Here's behind you.
Well, I did because I wanted adult religious education. And I wasn't quite sure where to put that. It could have been one.
Okay. So note taker for the discernment committee. There's a couple votes here for open-minded was a desire and a hunger for more adult formation.
And I will say, I put the God is here thing because there's a hunger for more adult formation.
Okay.
I noticed that there's only one blue on the service,
Being Jesus's hands and feet.
a whole bunch of green.
Yeah. I think of you guys and your amazing service and the gathering grace, and there is a hunger for more of that, which might be, does anybody want to talk about why you put that?
Or could it be just a hunger for more help in what we're already doing? As in gathering grace, and donations to groups and the coffee.
That there's a need for more support for the work that you guys are already doing. Is that why, did you put green on hands and feet of Jesus?
If I had another sticker, I would.
Are there, yes.
Yeah, so I put green on being Jesus' feet and hands. And when I was becoming a Christian a few years ago, the line that really stood out to me when I was reading the Gospels was the way is an arrow, the gate is an arrow. And part of that can be used to be sort of fear-mongering, I think. But if you're reading it positively, I think it is this calling to be constantly working towards that gate, to get through that gate. And I think that there's so many problems in the world, and we're never going to fix it all. But it is important that we go and we help, right? And I see a lot of energy here, and I love that, and I love the work that we do here. Of course, there's always more to be done, and that's what I very highly value as a Christian.
Anyone else want to share about why you put your mark your post-it where you did on either color? Anybody else? Okay, right behind you.
I put the open-minded, which was about the search for wisdom and answers and reading questions. And I think that's probably true in most of our lives, except I think in this church that we're maybe too settled in our ways and we don't question enough what we're doing here. I think we like what's going on, and I'm not saying that's bad. I'm putting myself in that category. You like what's going on, you're comfortable with it, and it's easy just to continue the same here. Even though in our own lives, we may be very questioning people about political or social issues.
Yeah. Anybody else want to share why you voted the way you did? Anyone who put theirs on communal want to explain why they voted for communal? Those people are mysterious and wanting to stay in the crowd.
Actually, I put 2 stickers up there, so I won't say who the other one is unless you want to stop. I think it's more of, not that we're particularly lacking because I'm new and everybody welcomed me in. And I so treasure the communal prayers, particularly when there are issues in my family. So it's just kind of more.
More. We need more.
Yeah, more.
We need more community.
Yeah.
I hear you. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, thank you all for sharing this. I like this activity. I think but the importance of debriefing just became really evident.
One more person.
Okay.
Never mind, this one.
Okay. So I like this exercise. I think we learned a little bit about the Anglican tradition and what helps the charisms that hold us together. But also this understanding of we come needing and resonating with different things, and I think that's important. Okay, we are now ready for our final small group conversation. So on your tables, there are papers about Holy Conversation number 3. And today we are going to talk about, we're going to ask you, we're going to stay in the storytelling realm, but this time we're going to do some future thought. And I want you to describe your own wishes, hopes, and dreams for the future. What does it sound like? What does it feel like for those dreams to become a reality? So if you dream of adult formation, what does that look like? Are you gathered in one of our cozy spaces around a table? Are you in someone's home? Are you meeting at a local cafe? Is it in the evening? Is it in the morning? Like, just dream. Get a little creative here. And think about how that would be transformative to this community, to be living into that future. The second paragraph is actually very key, and I'm going to ask everybody to put their names on their papers, and we are going to collect them, because hopes become reality only when people commit to those dreams. And so asking for what is the tangible thing that you would do to help make your dream a reality. So would you donate money? Would you to invest in books for adult formation? Would you offer up your home to host it? Would you be willing to be a group leader? Would you provide for coffee and refreshments at it? Even if it's that you're just helping to fund that. But what is something that you would do to help make that a reality? And then the final is, and I don't think this one's as useful. Forget the third question. So those are the two. So everybody, if you could spend 5 minutes writing yourself, and then another 10 to 15 minutes talking as a group, then we'll debrief as the whole body. Anybody need pens? Yeah, thank you.
talk about things, values, and activity.
need about 5 more minutes, or are we about wrapped up? 5? Raise your hand if you would like 5 more minutes. Okay. Your previous rector wanted to be very high church.
that.
All right. We about ready to come back together as a group? Okay. Well, I am so excited to hear about all of your dreams for the future of Grace. Which group would like to kick us off and report out first? All right.
So in talking about the first thing, or the first topic of describing our wishes, hopes, and dreams for the future, there was one agreement that we wanted a continuation of some of the things we already do. In fact, quite a few of the things we already do. Continuity is important to us, maintaining traditions. The liturgy was mentioned by a couple people is really important, and the need for adult formation. In the second question, what would you do? There was definitely a commitment to time and devoting your personal time to new activities or continuing activities that the church is involved in, whether it's adding adult formation or whether it's going out into the community and being involved in more community activities. And then the third one is reflect on your hopes and dreams. What quality would you use to name them? And again, it came back to tradition as one of the qualities for our hopes and dreams, tradition and continuity, but also communal activity as something, being more involved in various ways in the community. And we're not talking about as individuals. We all do that already. It's community activity with some group from the church saying, this is a grace, and we're doing this with this social agency, or this with this performance organization, or this with this youth group, whatever it happens to be. Our final discussion was getting rather involved about how to change but still keep tradition, not change for the sake of change, how to adapt to changing things in society, but still maintaining the fact that we're Episcopalians and we have a tradition, and keeping the continuity that we also value. And that's hard to find that balance. We didn't come up with an answer, we were just discussing the balance.
Nice. Which group would like to go next?
Well, on the first issue of hopes and dreams, adult formation, either book club of some sort. We used to have one, which goes back to tradition. And extending the music program into supporting a concert series, a small one, maybe 4 concerts a year, that would bring people into the sanctuary so they could see the beautiful space and experience what we do here. After school tutoring program is a possibility, and that would tie in with what, as a group of Episcopalians, we could go somewhere else and volunteer for that, but and growth in families in the congregation. I think that's really important. Of course, that's partly on us, but mostly on the priest, I would think, because you can't do more if you don't have more people. We already are taxing the people here because we're small, and if we want to grow, we have to get more people. And what would we be willing to do to support that. I would be willing to increase what I could financially. I would be happy to write grants to support the concert series so that it wouldn't be the burden of the church. And we could work that out, but and you said to ignore the last one, so we did.
Fantastic. Max, does your table want to go next? Is there anything to add from either of those two tables? Yeah? Okay.
Our group kind of went over very similar types of items. We had diversity of music and services. Welcome modern music, not to the exclusion of our traditional music, but in addition to it. We do have some other hymnals that I don't have seen very little light of the day within Grace Episcopal Church that are approved by the National Church, so maybe that would help draw some people from the community. I don't know. Was commented, the Willses used to be somewhat regular here, but didn't really have anyone to relate to because no one is age. What comes first, the chicken or the egg? We don't know, but we've got to offer some programs, hoping that we can get the chicken to bring the eggs in to serve, to join us and be with us. Again, items were mentioned for not entertaining, but challenging the youth to be active within the church. We used to have what was called Sunday suppers here when we first came into the congregation. Phyllis and I moved back to Muncie, Indiana after college, and we invited the first month the congregation to come into our home for a Sunday supper. It happened to be neither of the ministers we had at the time showed up that night, so we had 18 or so strangers coming into our house. Didn't know their names. Is kind of frightening, but was very good. We got to know people.
Was that a youth thing or that was an adult thing?
Adult thing.
An adult thing, okay.
Right, at that time, it was strictly adults.
Okay.
Maybe bringing that back so we get to know our fellow parishioners outside of the regular congregation. It brings some difference in thoughts and whatever about our fellow congregation. At that time, we were extremely heavy in doctors and lawyers, which are almost non-existent except for educational doctorships, doctoral degrees within this congregation at this time. But it was challenging and enjoyable. Tried to have some events. We used to have a Halloween party put on by the church in our home, in a home each year. Items of this sort to see us in a different setting, and but we do need to somehow get some sort of program going that would be hopefully welcoming to youth and maybe can draw some youth in.
Anything to add from that group, or did that cover it pretty well? Okay. Okay.
We talked about the Sunday suppers also. They were different than when Tom was here and he had us grouped in groups of such and such a person belongs to such and such a group, and they took turns within the group, where Sunday suppers was open to all of the adults in the church to come if they cared to. Another suggestion was the formation based on either the Bible study or church history. A lot of people don't know church history, even those that have been in the church forever. And another thing that was mentioned was a time when people could go to go into the church alone to pray. Right now, the church is pretty much locked up except when there's an activity going on here.
I also talked about, and this is something I know we've talked about, and we really just need to start doing times to do like gaming together, so like having fun together and getting to know each other over that. I think that that's very similar to the Sunday suppers. It's just a different way of doing the same type of thing. So I thought that was kind of neat that they went together. So, and then I actually mentioned, well, I was the one with the being able to go into the sanctuary to pray. Actually mentioned the adoration of the Eucharist, which is what I kind of miss having that. I know some Episcopalian churches do that. They tend to be higher church than we are, but yeah.
All right. Anything to add at this table? Nope. Okay, go ahead.
Close, like that? We just want to share our feelings, which almost is exactly what everybody else has said.
Then I'll add check marks.
If we don't get any more people, there won't be a church here in 10 years. So that's our main emphasis was getting more members. Because you look around and a lot of the people in this parish hall is, they're over 50 years old. So don't raise your hand. Anyway, that was one thing. And we also talked about, we hope that we'll always have music in years to come, with the Ball State kids coming every Sunday to help out with the choir. And we also thought that maybe we should have the Shrub Tuesday pancake supper again, like we used to have back in the old days. And here, we have another comment from another parish member at our table.
I haven't heard anything like this from the rest of you, so I wanted to go ahead and present my views. I would like to see more emphasis on environmental stewardship here at the church. And there's these flyers on the table out there in the hallway. That would give us a start. It's called Stewardship of the Environment. And as you all know, I'm passionate about keeping the downtown farm stand alive, and that's one very precious place we have for greening our food. Having more people shop there for coffee hour needs, and maybe we could get some grants to help Gathering Grace buy some local and organic food. So all of you already know that from me. And then again, I wanted to emphasize what everyone else has said, that we can gather new members, and maybe we could have some brainstorming sessions on how to go about that. Thank you.
I just got a text message from Karen Sullivan down in Louisiana, since it's 80 degrees down there. But she said, she could lead a book discussion. That was one of the things you had up there.
Yeah.
She also texted me and said a need to attract younger families with children, which I forgot to say I heard talked about also.
What color? You guys were purple. I'll add a purple check.
I didn't hear any of that.
I'd like to add to that.
Okay, let's find the microphone. Can we bring a microphone here?
I actually saw how
priest went into a church that had 25 people. And somehow, I wasn't involved in this, but somehow she convinced the vestry to invest in godly play. And she had a college person that was going to a college very close that took over it and really developed it. And then she also had she was mentoring someone that when he graduated from college, he came and joined the church and improved immensely on the program. And now, I don't know what their attendance is, but I know when you go into that congregation, there's a lot of energy there that is lacking in congregations that don't have something going for the kids.
Do we build the children's program in the hopes that the kids will come, or do we wait for the kids to arrive before we build the program? Joey?
Tagging on to that, I thought of this as I was hearing things. I didn't get it written down when I was doing my, 5 minutes right. One thing that I've noticed a remarkable gap, I guess would be a good word, is we really lack a social media presence. Like, yes, we have a Facebook page, but it really doesn't get used. We don't have Instagram. We don't have any of the others. We do post the services every Sunday to YouTube, but as one of our gurus for Zoom, I would call him Zoom Guru, said that the video that has had the highest traction was my renaming ceremony, but that's because I put it on Facebook on public and like all my friends watched it. So we really have not had, granted this is all in the last like 25 years, but we really haven't had a clergy person who's encouraged and embraced, tech savviness. Father Paul had boundaries on that, and so he knew it would be a rather holy thing about it, and I totally respect that. But we need to we either need a priest or a priest needs to find a way to foster the gifts in a person or a group of people. That social media presence, because that's huge. Because the only way I ever see grace mentioned anywhere is if I'm in a group on Facebook and they're going, my family is looking for a church that is queer friendly and all these things, and they get the list of all 9 or 10 churches in town to one. How do we stand out? How do we, granted, cool, awesome, they went somewhere else, they found a home, great, cool, not now. But how do we provide a saliency? How are we indispensable in that conversation? We've yet to prove our indispensability. And that sort of falls into what I was thinking, that I love that we want to do adult formation. I love that we want to go deeper into the scripture and into the tradition and into the polity, great, cool, awesome. But that also then begets doing the work on other topics. I know during COVID we had a mini-series about racism and microaggression that was decently attended, that was led by Rick Renee Kinzer, who is a sociology scholar, and it was very awesome. And there are so many people in this congregation that have knowledge and resources, or know people who have knowledge and resources that we could tap into and do that work, because it's great to have the roots of our tradition and our faith, but then how do we use that in our current context? How do we be good trouble when the Episcopal Church has been known for having a history of being bad trouble?
Okay. Anything else to add from that front table? Okay. We need him, here you go.
Yeah.
What color have I not used?
We agree, I think what everybody says, new young members, especially young people, more parish activities and groups, increase the volunteer pool, all those things. And then we are a historic, biblical, orthodox form of Christianity, but with a more open perspective on theology and spirituality that will appeal to many.
Okay, I feel like I missed a bunch of things here. So, increased volunteer pool.
Yeah.
I heard things about families.
Volunteer pool, new members, especially young people, more parish activities. groups, reading groups.
Okay. Have we captured it, that group?
Yeah, and
You
then
feel okay?
I think we're orthodox, I'll put it this way, we're orthodox plus latitudinarians, which I know is fancy. What it means is we're an orthodox Christian group, but we're pretty open on spirituality and theology.
Okay.
Which a lot of orthodox groups are, that's kind of.
Yeah, that kind of goes into the charisms, right? Like, yeah, I like that. It's a neat way of saying it. Okay.
I just have one last thing, and this is a plug too. What I dream of is a congregation that sends a lot of pictures to the church email, because we are working on the website, and we have someone actively working on it, and he is really, really itching for pictures. And we have a few, and thank you to the people that have sent them, but we need more. Anything related to Grace that you've done, and yeah, that's my dream.
Grace Church Parish @gmail.com.
So gracechurchparish@gmail.com.
Great. And put pictures in the subject.
Church, parish.
And put pictures in the subtext.
I just feel like I was willingly coerced into something. Not coerced, but brought into. Okay, so we've got some. Oh,
Mainly recent pictures.
It can be recent, but it doesn't have to be super recent.
so
Just be pictures.
recent, not super recent. Okay.
Videos?
You go ahead, if you have a video, and you can get it sent.
Joey?
Using the pictures as a segue here, I am using that. And echoing what Max was saying, there's a lot of opportunities to meet in other contexts that we could scratch with. Like, there's a photo up here from a few years ago when we had a blessing of the animals, and I know that we typically do it now with Lutheran Church of the Cross at their place, but we really didn't get a lot of knowledge about it the last year or two, and like it sort of fell in our laps. And so things like that, like the Sunday suppers or a game night or a blessing of the animals, or things that are still us being us, but not necessarily in the more orthodox understanding of liturgy. You know, I would love to see this place with lights on, or a light on in somebody's home with somebody else more often than not. Like, because of COVID, Father Paul met us in suppers of small groups of people that were coordinated. That was cool. That was cool that we met over a kitchen table. That was cool.
Awesome. So to wrap up, okay, last comment. Oh, we need that. Sorry.
I'd like to also add healing service monthly. And that's something I could assist in.
Yeah, real need there. So, to wrap up, there are so many good ideas and there's good energy here. And here's the thing I want to tell you, that as a fellow layperson, there are 3 things that our priests can do that the rest of us cannot do. What are those 3 things? I think of them as A, B, and C. Who knows what?
Sacraments.
So, well, they all kind of fall in the sacrament. So, specifically. Absolution is A.
Baptism.
No, you can have emergency baptism. So, B is blessing, that only a priest can bless you. And does anybody want to know what C is? Consecration. Yep, so consecration. So absolve, bless, consecrate. Outside of that, you don't need to be a priest to have a social media presence, or to gather Sunday suppers, or to start an after-school tutoring program, right? Like, there is nothing on here. I mean, there was continuity of liturgy, like, but we lay people can do liturgy too. Morning prayer is a beautiful service, And I understand you, like, I've been here for it. The first Sunday I was here, it was done beautifully. So this list, yes, this is data for the discernment committee to take back, but I am also empowering you that you can step into this future now. We can build up our volunteer service to help support our wardens and all the volunteers who are doing Gathering Grace. All of this energy, don't wait, right? Like, discernment committee is busy and is going to create the profile, and we're gonna get out the good word to find you a great priest. And this is your church. So step into it and make these things become reality. Don't forget to put your name on your sheets and to turn them in to your discernment committee. But know that it has been such a blessing to be with you all. I have loved getting to know you. The warmth that I feel when I'm here, you guys are wonderful. And I can't wait to go find your next priest. God knows who it is, and we just have to go reveal who it is. So, yes.
You have something left, you want these back?
I would love those back. And if the discernment committee can stay. But with that, let's go in peace to love and serve the Lord.